So hopefully it works because the last time it didn't. How is everyone doing? I see some people live on YouTube as well. Hi guys. So I'm on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. Today has been a long day. How's it been for you guys? Let me know in the chat. But basically today I wanted to talk about 5 critical career change mistakes that people make. I know a lot of you have found me by learning about my career change story, and some of you are thinking of doing the same thing or similar. So today I'm going to talk through some of my tips for making sure that you do that successfully, because it starts from your baseline, right? You need to make sure that you are doing the right things before you make such a drastic change in your life. So 1 second, just pulling up my notes here. I have literally just come off one call into this one. So I want to make sure that I don't forget anything. And I'm going to be talking through the list. If you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, today's just an introduction into the deep dive that we're going to be doing tomorrow in the advanced career transformation training. If you haven't signed up, you have less than 12 hours to sign up. Have a link on Instagram in my bio, click through. Jesus Christ, I can't speak English today. But anyway, just go to the link in my bio on Instagram and click through to the link to apply to join us on the career transformation training. It's free. There's no obligation to enroll, but it's literally going to blow your mind with that training, because the way we've structured everything, it's going to give you the framework that you need in order to translate your existing experience, leverage it and amplify your skills in order that you can transition into the career that you love. Jesus Christ, guys, please forgive me. It's been a long day. Let's drink my water before I get started. I see you guys on YouTube. Thank you very much. All right, let's get into it. So this is not a long video. The first mistake that a lot of people that want to make career changes make is making a rash decision. I know that some people might be feeling like, oh my God, I've had enough. The thought of waking up tomorrow, logging in, especially when you're working from home, right? You can't even like bounce off energy from your office BFF or anything. You're kind of stuck. You're just like, I've had enough. I want something new. It's time for a change. But quitting your job because you hate it, because your boss is annoying, is such a rash decision if you do not have a plan. It's not a good enough reason, to be honest, because you need to know what's truly driving you. Career changes, a lot of us on YouTube come up and we talk about it and make everything sound so sexy. I quit my job without a plan. I did this without a plan and this happened. But the reality is that a lot went into it, right? So if you get a job like me, for example, where I was offered a role, it's because I had set up my LinkedIn right. It's because I'd been networking, because for career changes, especially if your experience is not directly transferable, you can't rely on just good old job applications to get you the role. It's not going to work. And of course, yes, it might work, but with a lot of effort. What is more important is for you to figure out a plan to build a network and amplify yourself. And you should also be able to talk about the transferable skills that you're bringing. But if you don't know the real reason why you're quitting your job and you're just quitting your job because you've had enough, you will not have a strong enough why. You're just going to end up moving into another blah role and the cycle still repeats. And I want you guys to remember, if you want to make such a big decision in your life, do not be afraid and stop thinking about what you have to lose, but instead start thinking about what you have to gain. Because if you're making a rash decision and you're like, I've had enough, I quit now, you're running away from something. And it could be the case that you end up in a role that has a crap manager, but probably you're even getting paid less or your responsibilities are more, and you're like, from the frying pan into the fire, what the hell? So make sure that you have a plan and don't make rash decisions. If you want to know how to map out your whole career transition process and do it in a way that pretty much follows a proven process, like I've mentioned, once you have a look at this video or once you look at my Instagram profile, you can have the link to apply for the career transformation training tomorrow, but we'll go a lot more deeper into this. So the second thing actually runs on for the first, is not having a plan, right? A plan makes you feel secure, and a good one reflects strategies and models that have worked before. There's a reason why I have all of these books and a whole library behind me because I spent years trying to find people like me who had been in corporate and had transitioned into something different, right? Because we spend so many years in education, so many years of conditioning. And when you get there and it somehow doesn't work for you anymore, you feel like you're stuck there for the rest of your life, right? Sometimes it can feel like that because you can't see anyone who's stepped out of the norm, who's done something different. And I was on a call today with a badass executive, and she used to be a lawyer like me. And I love this woman because the first time I saw her, she was wearing this amazing outfit. And guys, you know, it's not all about the optics and stuff, but there's something about a woman who is beauty and brains for me that just smashes it, right? And I'd spoken to her a few years ago, the first time I met her, because I'm trying not to go into detail here because I need to keep things a bit anonymous, but I was working in her team, but I didn't work for the company. I was just working in her team for a short time. And it turns out that actually she'd also made a career change when she was younger. And at that breaking point, at that between 25 and 30, where you're like, okay, what I'm doing right now doesn't work for me. But we have to remember that back then, it was harder to find a precedent. So we're lucky, right? I remember thinking about her at the time and being like, wow, she's so brave. I really want to do what she did, but I don't know if it's going to work out for me. Now there are so many examples of people who have done successful career changes that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to spend 4 years like I did being like, oh, what if? Instead, follow their strategies. I spent years listening to podcasts, getting mentors, asking so many questions. And once I finally decided to take action on my plan, it just changed the game, right? And a lot of people who are changing careers and they don't end up happy in the new thing that they're doing is because they don't have a plan and they hadn't researched, because the plan that you have should reflect the research that you've done for your chosen industry. So for example, if you know that you're moving into the tech field and you're a non-techie person, and you want to go to a competitive company like Facebook or Google, you need to be able to talk about your awareness of the tech landscape. You need to be able to show them that even though you don't necessarily have the technical coding skills, you have a strong understanding of what that industry or the particular company that you're going for needs, and that your transferable skills will be able to apply towards helping them achieve their goals. That's exactly what I did. You guys know that I literally only have 10 weeks of coding experience, yet I am here leading a global digital transformation. Like, who this? It's me, guys. Do you know what I mean? And like 3 years ago, all I thought I knew was law. So you need to really, really have a plan that includes all of these elements. And also, importantly, your career change plan should also reflect your finances and your financial plan. If you are switching and you're thinking of starting a business, or you're moving into an industry that perhaps pays you less but offers you more in terms of work-life balance, or the opportunity to have enough time to work on your side hustle, like what I did initially, then you need to make sure that your finances are in order. Because the worst thing you want to do, especially right now in our market, is for you. Kayla says she's here for this energy. Woo! Thank you. I need the hype, guys. I need the hype. I've been up since 4:30 in the morning. Please give me some energy. Anyway, so you need to really have a plan that makes sure that you're fail safe. Your budget is set up and you know that, okay, I have my emergency fund. I'm not going to touch that unless it's an emergency. I also have my short to medium term financial security net, right? And then you have your regular income coming in. You need to make sure that you've really assessed where you're going. If you're going to be earning more money, that's fantastic. And that's really what we try to help our clients to do, because you guys know me, my mission, I'm not working for anyone by the time I'm 35, 40. You know what I mean? Like, financial independence is my goal. And if I have to work for anyone like I do now, it's because I'm learning so much from these companies. Like I said, I've just started into tech and I have this role. There's so much that I can learn. And I have this career coaching business and I teach that to the people in my intakes, and they are also able to achieve success. For me, I work nearly the same amount of hours that I did when I was in law. So my days usually start between 4:30 and 5, but the difference is remarkable, because usually at this time, I'm like dead. Like I'm in a mood. Don't walk into my office. Don't talk to me past 7 p.m. I'm not interested. But now it's like, it's a different kind of energy, right? My hours are the same. My income is relatively the same, but my energy and my vibe and my engagement with my work is completely different, right? And that's what you should want from your career change. All right, the next thing is overthinking instead of taking action. Jesus, guys, this is what we call analysis paralysis. If you've ever dealt with this, I can see the Instagram chat a lot more. Please comment and let me know. Hi, analysis paralysis will keep you stuck. And this is where so many people who want to change careers get held up, right? And before they know it, they've been doing the same thing for 5-10 years and like, where has the time gone? And the worst thing you want to do is feel regret, because tomorrow is never promised. You have to think about the way that you want your life to be, the legacy that you want to leave. And, you know, money is not everything, but as I always say, money is incredibly important. But if you keep thinking, oh, I'll never be able to earn the same salary, you're not being imaginative enough. And for me, that was the issue that I had. I was like, oof, I'm earning multiple 6 figures right now. Where else can I go outside of law and banking that will get me the same amount of income? I wasn't thinking about exploring the market and seeing all of the possibilities that we have right now. At the time when I made my career change, it was 2019. I'd done smaller pivots before, but the big one was in 2019. And now I can look back at that and just say that, Dels, your fear of change just kept you trapped and just in overthinking for so long. And that's not what you should be doing. You really want to be taking action. I mentioned this quote the other day, but was it Martin Luther that said, you don't need to see the whole road, just take the first step and everything will illuminate for you. And that's what I want you to remember, right? Stop worrying about, oh, what could go wrong? Instead of you to start thinking about what could go right, what do you have to gain? You know, now I look back and I say, damn, Dels, you could have just done this years ago. So I can give you like an example. Again, you guys would have seen this on YouTube, but literally less than 3 months after I pivoted from law, I was in Google pitching my own product, like my own tech app. Like, what? When I was creating my vision board and all of that stuff, that wasn't even what I planned at all. It wasn't what I planned. And, you know, won't he do it? All right. So the fourth thing that you need to consider when you're making a career change and making sure that you don't make the mistakes that many people do is don't switch industries or get a new job or switch companies because it's sexy and because it pays well. You guys know me, like there's no hypocrisy in what I talk about right now, right? Money is very, very important to me. I don't have a bank of mom and dad. A minimum 6-figure role is my baseline. And that's the same thing that my clients want as well. But I always tell you that money is not the be all and end all, because I know what it's like to be almost reigning in money, but unhappy as hell, right? And not necessarily because my companies were bad or anything like that. And it's not to disparage them at all. But you know, sometimes you can really enjoy doing something, but it's diminishing returns, like too much of a good thing. And then your engagement and your energy just drops, right? And that was the case for me. Like I said, if you come into my office after 7 p.m., I'm like, what do you want? Right? I'm just not interested because like law is very hard and tough, you know, I wasn't using my creative part. And what happens as you get older, I don't know if any of you have felt like this, is that if you're not being true to yourself, if you're not giving yourself permission to explore your dreams, your interests and your passions, you always be wondering what if, and that what if energy kind of just, you know, so you want to explore that first instead of moving to the next job. Oh yeah, tech is sexy, it pays well, that's what I want. But actually, I was talking to someone yesterday who was like, it's great, but it's tough, you know. And some of these people, these technical people, are so really into what they do that it's not as collaborative as I thought it would be. And I will tell you guys, when I first started learning how to code and working with techies, I thought I made the worst mistake because I hate working with people exactly at the same time. So if you guys know anything about coding, right, you write a line of code and then you have to wait for someone on the back end to write their code, and then you marry everything up and then you have to test it. I'm used to literally just working contracts, just doing my thing. If I have to send it to a partner to check, fine. I like independent work. I like taking ownership of my work, right? So that's just the way that I like to work. But tech is, especially in like certain things, is a lot more collaborative, and I completely hated that, right? If you felt like, tech is amazing, I want to join and become a project manager, and then you get there, you get your salaries, you hate the way you work all the time, every time someone sends you an email, you feel anxious, it's not going to work. So you want to make sure that you are switching industries and going into something with your eyes wide open. And that's what we do for our clients as well. We help them with providing in-depth research, industry research summaries, especially if you're looking to work abroad as well, because this is, a lot of the things that people miss out on. They're like, I really want to work in Dubai or something, but is your industry good in Dubai? Is it the type of industry where people are well paid, or is the industry full of workers from third world countries that are willing to accept a lower salary than you, and they're just as good with the work as you? In that case, does it make sense? Because then you can go on Instagram and be like, I'm moving to Dubai, I want to shake my ass on a thong. Guys, did you see that? Did you see that meme from Nella Rose? I love that girl. But anyway, you can't just be jumping into things because everyone else is doing it or people are hyping it up. You need to make sure that you're making an informed decision before you ruin your life, right? And then lastly, doing it alone. Successful people are never one-man bands. This is one of the things that frustrated me the most when I was looking to go into tech, because I'd applied for this program called incubator program that you guys might know about, called Y Combinator. And what they require is that you have to have a technical co-founder. So you could have like a CEO, which is me, boss lady, but I didn't have a technical co-founder, but I had a team of developers, but I didn't have a co-founder that would join me on this. And I didn't like that. I was like, guys, like, this product is good. People are really interested in it. I have had other, incubator companies interested in it, but they've just said, look, you need to have a co-founder, because what happens is sometimes you need that support and you don't know everything, and you could spend years trying to figure something out and doing things yourself instead of following the roadmap of people who have done it before. And when you have the right support with you, so just using this tech analogy and building an app analogy, right? If you're by yourself, you're a CEO. Like I said, coding is not my strong point. I do digital transformation. I do more tech strategy, right? So that's what I do. And I know that I have this vision for this app. But if you don't have a technical person with you, then it can be a bit of a struggle, because when you're lost, when you're drowning, there's no one there to hold you up. And they know this, right? I think Y Combinator is where Twitch was developed, and also Airbnb. They've all gone through that process, so they know what they're doing. Yeah, Y Combinator. Someone just commented on YouTube. Yeah, they're really tough. They're really tough, but they're really good. And they really tell you that you need to have support. So I did Y Combinator startup school. So I ended up doing a different version of their full-on incubator program. And they tie you up with people in the same intake, right? So people who could have maybe different goals as you, but they're just as ambitious, people who you have to check in with every week. And that's kind of what we've modeled the Career Game Changer program on, right? Because we give you the mentorship, I give you the roadmap, your networking scripts, your resume scripts, LinkedIn scripts, promotion scripts, everything is there. But sometimes we can have all of the resources in front of us, but we won't take action. And actually, this is one of the reasons why we ask people to apply, because we gauge your energy in your application form. If you are not proactive, if you think someone's going to hold your hands, no, that's not what we do. I'm actually not interested. It's not just a case of taking your money, but I want someone that recognizes that you need support. You don't know what you don't know, right? And again, this is why Y Combinator structured their whole startup school, everything like this. You will never do things by yourself. When you feel down, when you send out an application and you don't get a response and everything like that, having cheerleaders, whether it's a coach, whether it's your friends, whether it's your family, can help you come out of your rut. And that's so important. Trying to do it alone, it doesn't make sense. And also, actually, that's not true. It can make sense, but it will take you time, right? And if you are like me, where you're closing on 30 and you want to be efficient with your life, knowing that you have a timeline for financial independence and all of that kind of stuff, you don't waste time. I unfortunately wasted a lot of time, but hey ho, it is what it is. So those are the 5 main things that I wanted to talk about today. I had some questions and I didn't write them down, unfortunately. But if you guys have questions about career changes and stuff, I'm going to stay here and chill. I know I talked really fast. It's just because it's been a long day, like I said, right? So when your energy is dipping, I have to like ramp it up. So any questions? I'm looking on here. Kayla says, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I love my best friend, but I do think yes, not everybody needs to know your plan. Not everyone needs to know. The people that know what you want to do should be people who can support you, and people who also won't be like, are you crazy? Like, why are you trying to do this thing? Because even if you are doubting, if you're doubting yourself, you don't want someone who's going to come in with that energy and then just amplify your fear, right? Because people who are afraid and stuck never really achieve anything. There's always going to be someone who's a negative Nancy, even if they have all of the best intentions for you. And no one really knows your circumstances, right? They're not the ones every day going into your office and being like, I'm tired, I'm not really engaged in this. So what you want instead is people who can support you. My perfect example is me right now. Like, I actually am in a business mastermind because there's hardly anyone I know in my real life who kind of does this career coaching thing that I do, or who's like an entrepreneur type situation. It's either the entrepreneurs that I know are so advanced, or just people just don't understand. Most of the people that I know are actually like maybe additional lawyers and bankers and stuff, and everyone is earning a lot of money and they don't know how to make the change. So being in a business mastermind has just been transformative. When I first found out about the price, I was like, Lord God. But then I realized, actually, what is the cost? What is a few thousands for millions in your life? What is the cost of being around people who will push you and show you that there's a lot more to achieve, who can show you systems, processes, and all of the things that you need to know? You need to be around those types of people instead of people who maybe are not exactly satisfied with their own lives as well. And they have no bad intention. Guys, I don't want to make it seem like anyone who doesn't support you is a bad person. That's definitely not the case, right? Definitely not the case. Because what's happening now is like my friends who have also seen like my career trajectory and stuff are like, oh my God, I want to do the same. Can I join? I'm like, no. I don't want any of my friends in my program because it won't work. It won't work because, you don't take your own friends seriously. Like if my game face on the CGC program is like, no, you need to do this. Did you submit? Did you do that? Did you get in touch with the person that we identified? And if it's your friend, you'll be like, oh, I was so tired, blah, blah, blah. But if you're paying for something and you admire the person who is mentoring you, you will get the work done because you don't want to disappoint them. So choosing the right people to be around, choosing the right people to tell your story to is really, really important. Guys, if you have any questions, pop them across. I think there's one on Instagram, sorry, on YouTube. How do we select the right people for the job? Please shed some light on having the right environment. Could you please elaborate on your question so that I could see? One of the questions that came up was, how do you know when it's time to change careers, right? I think this is a really good question because, like I mentioned before, never, ever, ever make rash decisions. People make it seem on YouTube that everything is so easy. I quit my job without a plan. I'm taking the leap. That's great, right? But a lot of those people, their bank accounts are set up differently from the rest of us. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they were YouTubers for a while, and they're earning like thousands every month. They've done that YouTube work, and now it's like, I'm going to quit because it allows me to have more time to grow my YouTube channel, right? That's completely different case from the rest of us who are like, I need to change, I need to quit my job, and I'm scared or whatever, right? So you want to make sure that you assess yourself, right? And say, am I doing this? Am I trying to make this change because it's something that I truly want? Or is it other people, is it society speaking to me without me even realizing and affecting my subconscious? And one of the ways to realize that is by looking at your energy levels and your engagement when you're working. Like, do you zone out? Do you wish you were anywhere but there? Is it consistent? I don't know how I can't give you a right answer for when is the right time, because only you knows the right time. For a YouTuber, for example, they could say it's when I hit $5,000 a month with my monthly revenue. One of my friends who is a very superstar YouTuber, that's what she did. She used to work in banking and then she moved into consulting and her channel took off. You guys all know who she is, so I'm not going to say who she is, but it was a very intentional decision and she'd been working hard at it. On weekends, she'd be filming and everything. So once she hit her number, she was like, right, I'm out, right? That decision was hers. It wasn't that her consulting job was terrible. It wasn't that she was unhappy with it, but she felt like it was time for a different change. For me, I just felt like it was time for a change, not just in my career, but also where I lived, right? I was living in Dubai for 7 years. I loved it, but I didn't feel like I was growing anymore. I wanted a different type of challenge. I was getting more senior and I was earning more money. And I realized that if I don't take the chance now, I'm going to end up being stuck here. And one thing that someone said to me, a partner actually, that helped me making my decision, he was like, I wish I had the same opportunities that your generation has. And because then I wouldn't be here, right? So he liked his job. He's a very famous, actually, lawyer in the city. But what he was saying is, for their generation, so I'm talking someone who's nearly 50, you went to school for a few years, you went to law school, you became a lawyer, you worked there for 10, 15 years, you become a partner, right? That's the goal. That's everybody else. That's everyone's goal. There was no like entrepreneurship. There was no like career pivot. It was usually like madness, right? And what he was saying is, with the opportunities that your generation has, it would be a shame not to take it. Because for him, now he was like, I have an expensive ex-wife and my new wife likes shoes. And then I have to send my kids to boarding school and it's all more money, more problem. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So that's the thing. There's no right answer to how do I know when's the right time to quit my job? That is completely subjective. And as Tony Robbins says, when the pain is too much, you will know the answer. There was a question on Instagram. Guys, pop your questions on YouTube as well if you have them. So someone says, how much time do you think is realistic when planning the deadline for changing careers? I'm just scrolling through. Okay, so in terms of a realistic deadline, you have to really determine whether you're dilly-dallying or you have a goal, you have an end goal. What we do on the Career Game Changer program is a 6-month mentorship program, but we give you a sprint map, which is in the next 90 days, we are going to help you or give you everything that you need to do to achieve your goals. You just need to follow them, check in, follow in on the check-in, turn up for the group coaching, everything like that, right? Because it's achievable in that 90 days for most career changes. It depends on what you want to do. You're not going to change into being a doctor in 90 days or 6 months. That's not going to happen. It very much depends. But for me, I was able to move from law to tech in 3 months. And there are some of these types of industry changes that are very doable in a 90 to 120 day time frame, because there are a lot of transferable skills. But if you don't have the skills, if you still need to upskill, then factor that in as well. So what we do again in CGC, it's 6 months because we give you the 90-day sprint. And then after that, you continue to join the weekly coachings, because you learn what you can do to accelerate. But even if you've not made your move within the 6 months, everything that you learn is going to set you up for the future, right? So far, I haven't worked with anyone that's not been able to make a concrete change in 6 months. So again, it's very subjective. But if you're like, oh, I want to wait for this, that, or the other, just make sure that you're being true to yourself and you're being honest with yourself. Because I used to say the same thing. I did this for 4 years. I was like, oh, bonus is coming up. I will retire. I'll hand in my notice after the bonus is coming. Oh, my best friend's just joined the firm. I'll go to get her referral money. I'll do that. Oh, I need to do this first before I quit. It took me 4 years of just messing around. And that is just a complete waste of time because you're lying to yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. It's all about you being self-confident and really having and feeling empowered to go after what your goals are. So for example, if you want to have a promotion, no one can say it's going to take 90 days. I don't know how your company is structured, blah, blah, blah. But you can prepare a proposal for your promotion in like in weeks. Do you know what I mean? But you need to know what you're tracking. You need to know that for the whole course of the year, for example, if you're going into a negotiation, you need to say what you've achieved, how that aligns with the success of the company that you've worked for by reference to financials is usually a really good one for negotiating, or even other strategic things, right? Whether it's brand recognition, depends on your industry, what you've achieved. You just always need to have an ultimate goal for your career, right? And also short-term, intermediate goals, and then near-term goals. It's staggered. There's no one answer. Guys, any more questions? It's 7:30. I've been on for half an hour. I'm just going to be chilling here for a couple more minutes. Let me know if you have any questions. The live training tomorrow is, I don't want to say the time, but literally there's only a 12-hour window for you to apply, because I'm not looking at anything after midday tomorrow, to make sure that we have enough time to prepare for the training and that we can answer some of the questions that are already coming in. But thank you everyone for joining. I can see Katie's on there. Hey girl. All right, I think that's it. I'm not seeing any more questions come in. Hey Nikki, good to see you this weekend. I hope you're doing well. All right, bye guys. Thank you so much for watching, and you've got this. Smash it. Let me know if you have any questions that you were too shy to put up, and maybe in my next live, I will talk about them. Toodles, bye. All right, and now on Instagram, let's save this. Hold on 1 second, Tim. I will get to you. Is your name Tim? Dalroy. So give me 1 second. I just need to save this video, save this live. Hold on. Okay, Tim, what is your, it looks like your name is Tim, but it's not. Dalroy TM. How can someone get a very captivating CV, especially in tech? Tech is a wide field, right? So what exactly in tech are you referring to? Are you talking about project management, software engineering? Is it a non-techie role? What is it that you're trying to do? In order for your CV to be captivating, you always need to remember that a recruiter will spend on average of 6 seconds on your CV. Like this is, I do a lot of recruiting for the company that I'm working for, and I've done in the past. Do I have a newsletter? I don't have a weekly newsletter, but I do have a mailing list where I shoot out information. For example, I tell people about the live training that's happening tomorrow. If you want in, you can apply for that. And also just some tips from time to time, whenever I feel inspired to share something. Okay, so programming. Well, one thing that I'll say is, again, remember that you only have 6 seconds really to make an impression on the recruiter, because they skim. And if you're going for the competitive companies like Google's and Facebook's of this world, you need to make sure you grab their attention straight away. The other thing that I would say is that you need to also, it's just a tip because you're in programming, I don't know if you've designed any apps or anything like that and you have things on GitHub, make sure that a link to that is available in your profile. I'll put that towards the beginning as your in your profile, for example. So I put that towards the beginning, and also your LinkedIn. You want to make sure that everything, I call it your marketing portfolio, shows you as a superstar, right? Programming is quite competitive and you want to grab their attention. So a good way to do this is literally the beginning. There's a profile section that I keep referring to because it's the format that we use for our clients, right? It's like the first half of the top. You want to make sure that that has a link to your LinkedIn and also your GitHub so someone can skim through really quickly. But you also want to summarize your profile yourself, what your strengths in programming are, what your transferable skills are, and literally marry up your transferable skills to what the company needs. And a good place to look at that information is look at their shareholders report and look at the new markets they're looking to move into, the new apps they're looking to develop, the spaces that they're trying to move into. I hope this has really helped you. You want to put that on the, like literally the first half, the first thing that people see on your CV or your resume, I don't know what country you're from, should be that. And then everything else should just make sure that you're aligned, use the right languaging, make sure that if you are applying using the company's website, if you can find out which applicant tracking system they're using, do a test of your resume on that to make sure that you're using the right keywords. Look at the job description, look at the keywords that are highlighted there, make sure they're reflected in your CV. But for a programmer, it's really, really important that you have some sort of demonstration of things that you've built, processes that you've designed, blah, blah, blah. So I hope that's helped you. If anyone has any more questions, I'm still here for a little bit and then I can answer. But I think that should be it. I'm worried I'm going to lose this Instagram video. But thank you guys so much. And it's been a pleasure chit-chatting. As usual, let me know if you have any video ideas or questions, and I will make some time to answer them. All right, toodles, bye.